Hello, I'm Roger Bisby, and in this video I want to show you how to fit a slate flashing kit with a Keylite roof window. Now you'll notice that we've already got the roof window in the aperture, screwed in nicely, and we've also fitted the felt collar around the edge. Now this integrates with the breather membrane to make sure that you get a perfect tailor-made waterproof seal around the window. So the first thing I want to do is get a few slates onto the roof so that we can come up to where the flashing on the window starts. So we've got the slates up to the point where we need them for the flashing. We've left a 10mm clearance around the edge, and I'm just going to get these covers off. So this is the bottom apron, and you can see why those clearances around the side are important, because this has got a little seam here down the edge, and that's got to fit in. And if you brought those slates up too tight to the edge, you would never get that to sit down properly. Provided you take care of those tolerances, everything else just falls into place. Now some people would think a soaker's a soaker, but these are actually handed, and you can tell that because there's a little chamfer. They've cut the corner off there to help you when it comes to fitting it down underneath that cover. And then we use the nails provided. Don't use any other nails because you run the risk of going through the frame to the other side. And we just make sure we're nice and tight in there and nail in to the top corner, not too low down, because we want to cover this completely. So slate goes on, we just take that little tag at the side there, tap that over. So that is my slate and a half to keep the bond, and the next thing I need is another soaker to go in there. And I want to avoid nailing through where the hinged area is, because that hinge is recessed, so the wood is slightly thinner there than it is in the rest of it. So we avoid that hinged area by putting our nail down there. So at this point I'm going to put the next soaker on over the top of this slate that I've just put on, and again I need to avoid that hinged area, but luckily now we're above it anyway, so there's no problem. Now I've got as high as I can get without continuing the other side before I can continue over the top. And this last soaker that you put in, sometimes if the gauge doesn't work out for you, you just have to get a pair of tin snips and cut it so that you can get that top apron to go round. In this case, it worked out for me. Now we've got the side pieces on, covering those soakers, we're ready to put the hood on. Now the hood doesn't actually come with the flashing kit, it comes with a window in this box. And there have been people who have thrown that box away. And you'll see that these clips at the top, so even on a windy day you're not messing around looking for screws to fix it. You can just hold it in place like that, ready to put your screws in. Now you notice that this actually overlaps the soaker, so we're putting this top apron on top of this soaker. We're not putting a slate underneath. You'll see that when the other slate comes on, it'll cover this up anyway. So at this stage it's very easy to get carried away a nail through that hole as well, because if you've got 2 holes in a slate, why wouldn't you? But of course, then you would end up nailing through the flashing, which is a complete no-no. All the fixings have got to be kept outside of that flashing. So I'm going to put my second nail in around here, so we're well clear, but we're still getting 2 fixings for the slate. Well, I hope that gives you a good idea of how to fit the slate flashings on a Keylite roof window. And now all that remains for me to do is to fit that glazed sash back in. And happily, since Keylite invented that spring-loaded finger hinge, it's a lot easier than it used to be.